Hello Eurovision friends, thank you so much for coming to my channel Eurovision Histories. Today I want to try to predict who the jury winner of Eurovision 2025 will be, and to try to find out what kinds of songs the juries have liked in the past couple of years. We will be looking at the last 5 editions of Eurovision and see who came top 5 with the juries and try to distill and find out what kinds of songs and performances the juries are into. And then after that, I will tell you the 5 songs I think are most likely to win the jury vote this year. And then I'll also have a few might also do well countries after that. So let's get right to it and look at the last 5 editions. In 2019, this was the top 5 of the juries. So in first place, we have Tamara Todevska. Quite a surprise to some people, I think, that she won the jury vote, but really in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense that she did win the jury vote, because this is a well-performed pop ballad in English with meaningful lyrics, well staged as well, and she just had an amazing vocal performance on the night as well. In second place, we have John Lundvik with a very slick, well-performed, also vocally performance of a gospel-inspired mid-tempo song, also in English. In third place, we have the Netherlands, Duncan Lawrence, the eventual winner, of course, with a great pop ballad and very well performed once again and again in English. And in fourth place, and this is something that we might see throughout these 5 editions, in third or fourth place, we sometimes have a bit of an outlier that doesn't really fit what the jury usually goes for. But a lot of the time, these fourth or third placed entries are the entries that did very well in the odds before the contest, so were well liked by the fans as well. And here we have Mahmoud with this urban hip-hop kind of song in Italian, obviously the Sanremo winner, so that makes a lot of sense. And in fifth place, we have Cengiz with a well-performed pop song and slick pop song with a good performance in English. And in general, what I noticed a little bit, and we'll see that in the following years as well, juries like songs in English, they like pop songs, they like ballads, and they like songs in Italian, French, and Spanish as well, and Portuguese. So all of the Romance languages do quite well. Songs in other national languages do much less well, to put it mildly. Then in 2021, we had a song in French win the jury vote, but with an amazing vocal performance, well performed as well, and a pop ballad, more or less. In second place, another French song, Barbara Pravi, obviously very well performed, both vocally and the performance as well. The staging was very slick as well. In third place, a very slick pop song, well staged, with amazing vocals by Destiny, so the vocals seem to be quite important as well. In fourth place, and again, this is a bit of the outlier, a rock song by Måneskin. I think the juries really have to ask themselves after that they didn't recognize that Måneskin were superstars, really, because they became superstars after winning Eurovision. They should ask themselves why they didn't give them more points, but it's a rock song in Italian. And so the juries don't really go for rock songs all that much, but they were quite high up in the odds, so that might be one of the reasons why they came fourth in the end. It's also a great performance in song, obviously. And in fifth place, a fun song from Iceland, Daði Freyr. However, also very well performed, and when you look at the structure of the song and the composition, it's really a slick pop song as well. In 2022, the winner, again, a pop song, slick pop song, great vocals, and performed in English. Then by Sam Ryder for the UK. Then we have Cornelia Jacobs for Sweden. Again, slick pop ballad, well performed, well staged, very well performed in general by her. In third place, we have a song in Spanish, so again, a Romance language, by Chanel. Great, one of the best performances, I think, in Eurovision history, probably. And also, when you look at the song and how it's composed, it is a radio-friendly pop song, so it makes a lot of sense that the juries went for this. In fourth place, we have the eventual winners, the huge televote winners by Kalush Orchestra. And this, again, like in the first couple of years, the fourth place is an outlier, because this is a hip-hop song with traditional elements in a national language, which usually doesn't really work with the juries, but this was a huge favorite in the odds. So again, that might have influenced the fact that it came forth with the juries. And in fifth place, we have Maro from Portugal, a very well-performed pop ballad in Portuguese partly, but also in English. So that also makes a lot of sense that they came 5th in the jury votes. 2023, of course, the big winner was Loreen with a slick pop song in English, very radio-friendly, lots of hit potential. Then Noa Kirel, kind of same thing, slick pop song with a good performance by a good performer for Israel. Then for Italy, we had Marco Mengoni with a beautiful pop ballad in Italian. Lots of people said before that, like they did with Slimane, that this was a boring ballad and generic in a way, but the juries really went for this and gave this a lot of points. And again, they don't seem to have a problem with Italian. In 4th place, our outlier of the year there, a over-the-top fun performance in Finnish by Kerje, but still the juries went for this. And again, Finland was 2nd in the odds, so that might have helped. And then in 5th place, kind of surprising to me that year, Alika. But if you think back, again, not too surprising because it's a very well-performed, vocally especially, pop ballad in English. So exactly the kind of thing that the juries go for. And then last year, there are a few more outliers than there usually would be. But in 1st place, we have the amazing vocal performance and amazing staging also for Nemo and Switzerland. The structure of the song isn't really a traditional pop structure, but I think the vocals and just this impressive staging really convinced the juries to shower this with points, really. In 2nd place, Slimane in France. Traditional pop ballad in a Romance language, so it makes a lot of sense that they like this. And here the outlier is 3rd instead of 4th, but still Baby Lasagne came 3rd, and he was leading the odds, so that might have been a factor for the juries as well. Of course, I do say the odds might have been a factor, but the fact that it's very high up in the odds also means it's a good performance and a good song, of course. In 4th place, Angelina Mango, a very well-performed song in Italian, the Sanremo winner. I think that always adds a bit of goodwill with the juries. And then in 5th place, again, a song that should usually not do that well with the jury. So maybe they are opening their minds a little bit more than they did in 2019, 2021. But Ukraine, a very well performed vocally and otherwise as well. Staging was great. But there are hip hop elements, there are national language elements. So usually the jury should not go for this all that much, but they did in 2024. So, having talked about all of this, you heard me say a lot: English, pop ballad, slick performance, good vocals. And here is what I kind of distilled from that. Juries do like a well-performed pop ballad. You see all of the examples there, from Slimane to Duncan Lawrence. Lots of examples where they really went for these vocally well-performed ballads in English usually, but there are some exceptions, but most of the exceptions are in Romance languages. Then they also seem to like slick pop songs. You have Angelina Mango, Nemo, Loreen, and all the way to Chingis, lots of examples there. And then you always have the outlier that doesn't win the jury vote, but does quite well in the jury vote, like Baby Lasagne last year, Måneskin, Kalush, or Carrier. And this is something that I think we have to keep in mind. These were songs that did really well in the odds, that were fan favorites, and maybe some of the jury members were a bit influenced by that, even though I looked up the rules, and the rules say that the juries should be free from bias, external influence, foreign perspectives, or pressure, including but not limited to betting odds or public opinion. So they shouldn't look at the betting odds or the fan polls or anything like that. But having all of these songs that did so well in both of these votes, in the odds and in the fan votes, kind of suggests to me that they might be a bit influenced by it, or it's just because these songs are just great songs. And what the juries really don't like is kind of the opposite of that. They don't really go for rock all that much. Traditional elements is not something they go for. National languages that aren't Romance languages or English. Artsy performances, thinking of Constructor, for example, is not something they go for. Subpar vocals are really a no-go for the juries, and they really punish that. And also messy performances that aren't well staged are a bit of a problem. Having all of that in mind, let's look at the songs I think might do well with the juries this year. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, not be too influenced by my personal opinion. However, this is my favorite song, but I still think that this ticks a lot of the boxes that the juries like. This is a ballad. It is in French, so a Romance language. It is well performed. I think she has great vocals and a very unique voice as well. And I also think the instrumentation is not that pop, to be honest, but the instrumentation is really beautiful. And I think jury members who are professional musicians can recognize the amazing orchestration and instrumentation of this song and might be going for it. And so I wouldn't be too surprised if this does really well in the jury vote and might actually win the jury vote. I would compare this most to Maro, maybe doing so well in the juries. So this is a possibility, I do believe, even though it's the host entry, but the juries should be unbiased by all of that and look at the music exclusively. Then I would also add Adonis, Kiss Kiss Goodbye for Czechia. Lots of you mentioned that in the, not that many, but a few mentioned that in the community tab of my channel when I asked you who might be the jury winner this year. I think this ticks a lot of boxes as well. Amazing vocals. He's so good in the low register, but also in the high register at the end of the song, has great vocal control, and the juries will love this. This is a pop song in English with a bit of hit potential, is quite radio friendly, so the juries might go for that as well. I think this will have a very slick performance, and they like that as well. We saw at the pre-parties that he is able to perform this really well. Dance has a good choreography that fits the song as well, and I'm sure that they will come up with a good staging as well. And so there's lots of aspects of this song and performance that the juries will like, and it's one of the few songs in English that has the potential to be the jury winner, and that might push it a bit more as well. It's also been going up in the betting odds and is now in the top 10, and that can help as well. Then I have Claude with C'est la vie. Because this is just such a slickly composed pop song, it is catchy. It could be a radio hit in lots of parts of Europe. The fact that it is partly in French doesn't hurt it at all. It's in the two languages the jury seem to like the most, French and English. The transitions between the languages work really well. He has a very good voice, so they will love the vocal performance as well. And he's a good performer as well. I think the choreography will be good for this. The staging will be good for this. So I could see this do really, really well with the juries, because it's one of the few songs that is very pop in its structure and doesn't add, for example, a dance break or anything like that. It is the most radio-friendly song almost among the 5 that I have selected, so I would not be surprised if this wins the jury vote in the end. Then, Luan and Maman, if we think of Marco Mengoni, Slimane, Barbara Pravi, John's Tears, ballads in Romance languages with a kind of generic and traditional structure, but a good instrumentation, and that's what Maman is as well. Luan is a very experienced performer, and the juries, the music professionals, will notice that. They might also know her as an established artist in France. That might influence their opinion a little bit. She's doing really well in the arts as well, which might help put her front of mind for a lot of jury members. And I mean, great vocal performance. This will look and feel incredibly professional, but at the same time very authentic. And so I could very well see this win the jury vote with quite a big margin actually as well. However, the most likely, according to you guys in the community tab of my channel, but I can also see it, is JJ Wasted Love, mostly because of the very impressive vocal performance we saw in London at the pre-party, that he can sing this song, all of the registers, very well. They are preparing a very impressive staging, I have heard, and we have heard, and he is a very experienced performer from his roles at the State Opera in Vienna as well. So the juries will recognize this professionalism. One argument against it would be that other pop opera songs in Eurovision history have not done as well with the juries, like La Forza, Grande Amore, or also Kate Miller-Heidke for Australia. But still, this seems to be the most likely jury winner in the end, also because it's second in the odds at the moment. However, I also have a few others that I think might do well and might do better than people are expecting. One is the United Kingdom, because the harmonies that they managed to create, these three ladies, are just so impressive. I think the staging will have a lot of musical theater in it, and I think a lot of the music professionals in the juries would go for something like that as well. They can focus a lot on the tongue-in-cheekness and the performance because they are so well versed in the vocal performance. So I think the UK, and I also thought of Anya 3, I never know how to pronounce it, the three Dutch ladies that got a huge a very good jury vote as well, and that might happen for the UK here as well. Then, and this might be a bit of a surprise, I have Sweden. This might come third or fourth with the juries, a bit like Baby Lasagna or Kerja, but I also think that this is vocally a well-performed song. It is a well-composed song. The performance is Swedish production at its best as well. And I think the juries will recognize it. The fact that this is leading the odds will help it convince a few more jury voters to give it a second look, because maybe if they just see it and didn't know it was a favorite, they might not give it as much of a chance as they would if they know that it is leading the odds. So I think Bara Barabastu and Kai could do much better in the juries than people are expecting them to. I think Greece is another one that might be hurt by the language, but maybe we just didn't have a lot of good ballots in languages other than the Romance languages in the last couple of years, and this could do really well in the end. It is a very well performed, vocally especially, song. It has a very interesting composition. Musically, it's very well done as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Greece gets a lot of jury support. And then I have two songs that I'll add them both. Norway and Denmark are the most, some might say generic, I would say traditional pop songs with a very traditional pop structure, but with very good vocal performers. They are in English as well. So these are the two songs that kind of fit the description we found at the beginning of the video best this year almost. So I think Norway or Denmark might do incredibly well with the juries as well. And then I edited this at the last minute, but Italy is still came second in Sanremo. He has a very specific style of performing, but there might be a few jury members that like this songwriter cantautore style and will give this a lot of points as well. I don't think it will win the jury vote, but it might do very well indeed. So these are my predictions for the jury vote. If you completely disagree with me, that's fine. Leave a comment and let me know who you think will do very well with the juries, who will win the jury vote, and then we can discuss it. If you don't want to miss any of my future videos, I will do a video like this for the televote as well, and then an overall prediction who the winner will be. If you don't want to miss that, do subscribe to my channel, and then I might see you for my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.